This is the final video in the Parabola Master Bath project, creating the construction drawings for the bathroom. Construction drawings in Chief Architect are in a layout, and that's a tool that we have. It's a different file type from your floor plan. I have the layout pages open here in the program, and I'll just page through and show you what we're going to go through. On this page, I've got my floor plan, a few renderings, my floor plan notes. In the bottom section down here, I have a cabinet schedule. On the third page is a few wall elevations, some additional detail with some sections, a couple of images to call out the vanity and some of the framing. This is a black and white of the elevations, and then I have some final renderings. Let me show you how the layouts work. Let me close this layout set and I'll open up a brand new one. So I'll open up a new layout. In the templates file, you'll find a few different layouts. I have an 11 by 17 that has a side border. I'm going to use that as the default for this plan. Now when these open up, on page 0, first of all, you can think of that as your master page. Anything that is on this page will show up on subsequent pages. So page 0 is a master page. You can also have other master pages that you have with the text as a template. And if you want to search the help, you can find out more about templates and profiles with your layouts. So if any of the information on this plan, if I double click on this, and let's just give it a name here. Now this is going to show up on every single page as you go through. So page 0 is only for your information that does not change. There's macros in here. Notice that if I open this page number up, pull this over, here's a macro. You can get these macros by going in here to insert, and you can get information out there, and then that will save you typing in information that is repetitive. To begin with, you start typically on page 1 and start building your layouts. To begin with, I'm going to go ahead, I've got a second monitor you can't see, but I'm just going to grab one of the images that I'm going to use for the title page and pull that over and show you how that works. So I'm just going to grab the image, pull it over here, and place it onto the plan. Now you can simply grab this and resize it and position it. And I'll just set it here. Also, if you highlight this, there are edit handles on the sides. When I resized it, I was using the diamond. And if I want to crop this, I can actually just click on this edge and pull it in, and it will crop the image so you don't see certain things. So again, it saves you bringing it into a photo editing tool and doing a crop operation. So that's just off of the side. You can do it from either direction. And then you can use the text tool, add in your text. So I'm just going to grab my text tool here. And there's two types of text. Rich text, which allows formatting. Let me just come in here and type in some text. So you can change the fonts. You can come down here and let's just use I typically have a Futura font. Let me select that. And you can change the height of that. So let's go ahead and set that to be something like ½ inch. So you can type in any of the text that you want. The plain text, what we call simple text, you can control through text styles. Text styles are global defaults. Oftentimes I like using those because with text styles you can change all of your text at once. Let's go to the second page, and let's put in our floor plan here. So I'm going to open up the floor plan that we had. And again, this is where layer sets come in very helpful, because you can then control what's being displayed and what's not being displayed. So this is my floor plan, and I'm using the kitchen and bath layer set. And perhaps this looks a little bit messy, so let's go in and turn off our cabinet labels. So I can either do that through the layers and finding the cabinet labels and turning those off right here, or I can simply highlight an item, and there's a shortcut to that down here with the circle, the O inside the box. That will open up all of the layers that are affected by that object. I'll find the labels, turn those off, and now you don't see the labels on that. Once I have the particular view that I like, I will just then come up here and use the send to layout. Pull my dialog over here. And here's where you define what the scale is. Now this is a pretty large floor plan. Typically you might send your elevation out at a 1/2 inch for your kitchen and bath set, but on 11 by 17 that's not going to fit in this case. I'm going to change that to, let's try 3/8 and see if that will work. Sometimes when you begin a new layout, there is this checkbox to make a copy of the active layer set. In my experience, I would never have that checked because it will create a new layout set 1, and it's associated with that. If you've ever if you've ever opened up your plans and you see layout set 1, 2, 3 up to 99, whatever it is, it gets very messy. I think it's easier plan management to just manage your own layer sets yourself and not let the program do it for you. So my suggestion is always make sure that is off. So I'm going to send that out at 3/8 scale, and I'm going to send it to the layout page number 2. Select OK, and now that's going to position that on the page. It looks like 3/8 works. If I highlight it, you can see that the box is pretty big. I'm going to use the crop handles here, just like we had on the image, and I'm going to crop that down. Now notice you have to be a little careful. If I pull it too far, it may crop some of the text off down here. So just be aware of that if you've edited some of your text. Those crop handles may crop your text. Now the nice thing about, let me go back to the floor plan and let's just close the floor plan, because once I create my layouts, I actually pretty much work through my plan via my layouts, because when I double click on this, it will open up that plan right to that layout set. So if you've sent an electrical plan out there, you've sent maybe your ceiling plan out there, all you have to do is double click on it. It will open it up to that layout set, so you're not coming up here choosing the layout set that you want and then toggling it back and forth. I think it also is a quick way to start your construction drawings and making sure you have your pages in the right layers turned on and off that you want. So let's go ahead and go back, return back to the floor plan or the layout. The other thing is this is linked to your plan, so any changes that you make are dynamic in update, which is very nice, because if we come in here and let's say for whatever reason we end up deleting that window out, close that, you'll notice that in here the window is removed. Let's go back in there. I'm going to hit the undo button because I want to leave that window in there. Previously in our design we created a number of elevations. Those elevations are represented by the A, B, C, etc. inside of our plan. Those are actual cameras. If I double click on those, it will open up that camera and you can see that view. You want to send that view out to the layout sheet. Let's go ahead and do the same operation. Send to layout. Now let's ignore that. That message came up saying that my files weren't in the same folder. The program suggests and encourages you to keep your layout file and your plan file in the same folder. It's good. I opened this up as a template and haven't saved it yet in the folder that I'm using, so that's why that message came out. I want to send this elevation to page 3, and I'm going to change this case the scale to 1/2 inch. Now when you send elevations out to your layout sheet. They are in black and white because they are vector and they're very crisp and they are specific. So if you want color, I'm going to show you how to do that. But they are not linked, meaning that if you double click on this and you come in here and you make any changes and then you close it and go back to your plan, then those changes would be lost. Now notice when I sent this out to the layout, it comes up with the name of the camera that we had saved. And to be quite honest, I don't like the way that looks. So what I will typically do is just turn that off, either through this layers, turn off the layout box labels, select OK, and I will use my own text tool and create that label myself because I like to have a very specific look to it. Using the text tool, I'll create my own label. I'll just come down here, type in the text that I want, check my text style, and what I'm going to do is let's use the text style for 1/8 inch. Select OK. That has the style that I want. Come over here, slide that up, and now I'm going to use the callout. Come in here and place a callout, and that was wall elevation A. And on the attributes, I'm going to display a section line, maybe a large arrow, and I need to check the number of arrows that I want. Let's see, line style, text style. That looks okay. And let's just zoom in here. I should have had that arrow filled. Let's double click on that. And on the attributes, I want to have that arrow filled. I like the way that looks. Stretch the line out. And the final thing I'm going to do is use another text object. And I'm going to put in here 1/2 inch scale equals a foot. Since sometimes I have different scales that are on the same page, I always tie it to my own elevation view. And once I have that, I can easily go in and copy that so I don't have to recreate that. Now, if you look at one of my other elevations here, I've done one of these in color. And sometimes that looks really good. All of my dimensions are on here. Now the disadvantage to using color is I can't double click on that, open up the plan. If I move any of those objects, if I move that cabinet over, it will not update automatically. So remember, this is just a static image. So the way that I do that, I've already sent this elevation out at the 1/2 inch scale. And back in the floor plan, if you open up that elevation camera, what I'm going to do is just treat this exactly like an image. So I would use the file export, save it as an image here, give it the information. Now when I do this, I'm going to give it a larger height, and the resolution 72 is good for the web, but I'm going to use 300, might even use 600 if I've got a 24 by 36 layout, because when I print this I want to make sure that the image is nice and crisp. And I'm always going to check transparent background, because then in between my dimensions down here it will be clear and you won't have a bunch of pixelation going out there. So I'll just save that out as an elevation. And then that will export the image. I can come over here to the layout and then grab the image on my second monitor, place it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to resize this to the approximate, it won't be exact, but to the approximate scale for that. Now it looks like I need to crop this. Let me just do my cropping here. Let me zoom out just a little bit. I'm just going to crop in on that image. So this is a handy use of that crop tool. I can't quite see that. Let's slide this over into place on the bottom side here. And now I'm going to crop that side. And then all I need to do is position this to be approximately where that is on the original layout that I sent out. So I have that approximately in the position. And now what I'm going to do is just delete, press the delete key, the image behind it, or the actual vector elevation. That's how you create a color elevation in your construction drawings. Again, the disadvantage to it, it's not linked to your file. The advantage to your black and white is it is linked, and any changes that you update will automatically include it. Back in the floor plan, I want to send one more elevation. It's actually a cross section out to the layout sheet. That's the cross section down here, camera D. So I'm going to double click on that. And when that opens up, you'll notice there is some color in the walls and in the concrete down below, and then our framing members. There is a tool up here called Automatic Auto Detail. Let me click that one more time, and it creates that fill in there, and in many cases I'll just delete the ceiling insulation. But it'll give you a nice fill. Those colors will then transmit out to your construction drawing. Let's send that out to layout sheet number 4, and I'm going to send that out at 1/4 inch scale, and then I'll reposition it and also crop it down. I'll probably go ahead and crop the bottom of that, so I don't want to see that. Actually, let's just zoom in, and I'm going to crop right up to the next to the floor framing, and we'll just pull that over, position it where I want. And then I'm going to go back to the page that we created that text object, and I'm just going to draw a marquee around that entire item that I want. I'm going to copy that, come back to the plan, and I'm going to paste it underneath here. That was camera D, so I'm just going to modify that with a letter D in there, and then I'll modify the text to the appropriate text. And now I have that information. I may have to stretch that out so that it has the right formatting. And that's pretty much it. I've completed my layout file. You can see the different pages that I have, including my floor plan. I've pasted some images on the same plan. And then the elevations that we just went through, both color, black and white, pasting our images. If you want to download this plan set, including both the layout file and the plan file, you can do that on our website at chiefarchitect.com through the user gallery. I hope you found this session helpful and fun during the bath project. If you have any questions, you can call our sales group, and you can also download a trial version and follow along with this plan and download it yourself. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.